You now tuned in to the Gumptown Podcast. I'm your boy Doug B. We ain't got nothing to talk about, but we got something to talk about. Let's go. Good people, good people, good people. Welcome back to the Gumptown Podcast, episode 34. I'm your boy Doug B. If you tuned in to this podcast, thank you for your time and your attention. I really appreciate you giving this podcast a shot. Before we bring on today's guest, we got something to talk about, good people. Talking about personal development on today. In case you all didn't know, I'm real big on personal development. I love enhancing my skill set and adding to my skill set. And one of the best ways for me to do that is through reading books. I also listen to educational podcasts as well as watch YouTube videos, but my favorite avenue of personal development is books. Right now, I'm reading Atomic Habits by James Clear. I read this book a couple of years ago, and I applied some of the principles, but I'm rereading it, and I'm going to actually implement most of everything that's in the book, because that's really what personal development is all about, man. It's really about just feeling your potential, assessing where you are, and getting to your maximum potential. And you definitely have to implement the things that you read. I know a lot of people read and never apply. For me, I've been big on reading, learning, personally developing, and also implementing those tools and tactics that come in these books. I just finished reading What Makes the Great Great by Dr. Dennis Kimbro. It was a great book, game changer. Man, so many principles, so many gems in that book. I highly recommend it. So yeah, if you're on your personal development journey, you're looking for two good books to read, I can tell you right now, Atomic Habits and as well as What Makes the Great Great. Those are two books I would recommend. All right, that's all we got to talk about, good people. On with today's show. Today's guest, we'll be chopping it up with the co-founder and co-owner of GoodService1st Do-It-Yourself Garage, Anthony Sharpe, as well as his business associate, Darnell Fellows. I'm looking forward to this conversation, and I'm sure you all will be inspired by this story. Let's give a warm Gumptown round of applause for these gentlemen. Gentlemen, how's it going?
All right, everything's going good today.
Pretty good. Great Saturday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. First things first, I want to thank you all for taking time out of your schedule to chop it up with me for a few minutes. I really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity.
Greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Today we're here to talk about GoodService1st Do-It-Yourself Garage, but before we go there, let's get to know the man behind the brand first. Anthony, what's your story?
Okay, right now, I'm 45 years old. I'm married. I have a 7-year-old, so he keeps me busy. 7-year-old son. But most of my background really came from manufacturing. I've been in manufacturing since 2007, but I always had a passion for cars. I was working on cars even when I graduated high school, so I always loved cars, and that's actually how I ended up going into the manufacturing field. Like I said, started there, and then I went into the management side of manufacturing. Been in management since about 2010, and now it's all about how can I combine what I'm doing with my job and also my passion of cars, and that's how we end up coming to GoodService1st, Do-It-Yourself Garage. That's how this idea ended up combining.
Nice, nice. So this was something that you were already passionate about. You just decided to turn into a business.
Yes, yes, yes. Because like I said, I started noticing by me being in the manufacturing field, I started noticing the lack of the mechanical skills that was coming into the workforce these days. I mean, right now I'm working with I started in aerospace. I also worked in automotive manufacturing, but now I'm currently in the medical field manufacturing. And I know on day to day how hard it is to find skilled labor. So like I say, well, that's one of my passions of how can I bring back the skilled labor back? How can I make it more interesting? And that's where the Good Service, the Do-It-Yourself Garage concept started coming from, and the ideas started coming from. On how can I make an impact, with the mechanical skills?
Good stuff. Good stuff. Darnell, business associate of GoodService1st Do-It-Yourself Garage. What's your story?
Yes, yes. So, well, my background is IT and electronics. So, I've been working in IT and electronics for the last 15 years. But how I got involved with Good Service was the guys contacted me about a year and a half ago, and they presented the opportunity to me. And for me, it was a no-brainer. I say for myself, I am an automotive enthusiast. I love working on vehicles. Um, But my pain point was a few years ago when I was working on vehicles, I didn't have a garage to work in. So I'm out with my vehicle jacked up, working under the vehicle. Let's say it's a day where I didn't check the weather to ensure that it wasn't going to rain, and getting caught out in the middle of the rain, trying to scramble, get my tools So the guys presented an opportunity to me, whereas in you would have a roof over your head, you will have tools supplied, you will have a lift to lift the vehicle, and a safe place to work in. And as I stated before, I said this was a no-brainer. So I joined the team, and I've been working with them for the past year and a half to potentially see this business get launched off and provide this opportunity to others for where they have a facility to work in.
Good stuff, good stuff. And that's a great story from both of you gentlemen, and definitely excited to hear more about what's going on with Good Service First. So Anthony, if you would, just tell me all what services going to be, products and services going to be provided by the company.
Okay, so like I say, we're bringing the DIY garage concept to Montgomery. This concept has really been big over in the West Coast, and Texas is really big. So the DIY garage concept is where the average person, or either the side tree mechanic or somebody who just like working on the car on the side, they can come to our facility, and we will be able to supply them with the tools needed, the parts, and the lifts. So instead of somebody having to crawl up on their car, like you say, trying to jack your car up, we'll have lifts where you'll be able to lift the car up in the air and be able to work on your car. Even if somebody just needs help on working on the cars, we'll have a mechanic on hand that will be able to assist you if you're not just that familiar with working on the cars yourself. Then so also we're going to offer service where if the customer don't want to work on the car at all, but we want to just help them save some money, we will just charge them for labor hours. So they will be able to purchase the part themselves, bring the parts to us, and we will charge them just the labor hours for installing the part. One other thing, we're going to bring in a different concept to Montgomery and to the DIY garage. Also, we're going to be bringing the customization side to it as well. We're going to have a dyno machine. We're going to have the inflatable paint booth. So to allow people to do also customization side, not just have the tools to work on their cars, but also, hey, if they want to do some high performance upgrades or anything like that, or any small body work, like I said, we'll have the inflatable paint booth for that. Like I say, our services will start off for the basic bay rental and tools will be $29.99 an hour. And then based on what services you may want, the prices go up from there. But like I say, that is the main thing. It's really all about giving you the skills to be able to do it yourself. We'll also be doing classes on our basic mechanical skill classes, where we're teaching the average customer how to do brake changes, tune-ups, oil change, just your basic maintenance. We'll also have classes on that, just trying to empower people. So like I said, it's all about bringing the average person wanting to use their hands again and just becoming more mechanical skills and just giving them the confidence that, hey, I can work on my car itself. Right now with COVID and the rise in shot rate, the rise in shot rate is really getting high. The average shot rate is over $105 an hour now for the average shot. And then when they charge you extra on your parts, hey, it gets really expensive when you're taking your car to the dealership to try to get it worked on. So we're really trying to help save the community money and empower them by having them the confidence to work on their cars.
Wow, that's a great concept. That's a great concept. Mm-hmm. And I knew it was something when I was reading the backstory on the company. I knew it was something that I wasn't familiar with in Alabama or Montgomery, let alone.
Yeah.
And I see why, because you're actually bringing this to the city. And that's so awesome, man, that the fact that you're bringing something new and innovative to the city, because quite frankly, well, let me ask you this. Are both of you all from Montgomery?
Yes. I'm actually from Montgomery. Graduated from Lee High School. So yes.
Okay.
So I'm actually from Montgomery. Yes.
And Darnell?
So I'm not. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm not from Montgomery, but I actually live in Prattville. But I went to college in Montgomery, but I work in Montgomery. I'm in the surrounding area, so but that's kind of how we hooked up.
Okay, yeah, and the reason why I asked that is because I I commend you, Anthony, for bringing this new concept to the Gump. I say that I've been here all my life, and a lot of times we get caught up in this whole notion of, man, Montgomery boring. There's nothing to do here. There's nothing is. But a lot of times it takes people like yourself to go out there and say, this concept is missing. Let me fill this gap. Let me fill this void. So yeah, I just want to commend you for actually taking that initiative, because that's what it, in my opinion, that's what it really takes to make it in Montgomery. You got to have some initiative, you know?
Yes. You definitely have to. And like I say, by me, like I said, my success being in the manufacturing field, becoming in my position as a manager, and I really believe that the mechanical skills that I gained from working on the cars enabled me to push forward to, go to school, go to the next training in manufacturing to get to where I am, But I truly feel the mechanical skills gave me the passion just to get to that side. And, if I have the ability to, inspire other people, to give them confidence to maybe to do, especially right now with Hyundai here, and we have a lot of manufacturing companies in Montgomery, we have the opportunity to maybe help build the workforce to be able to, fulfill some of these jobs that's out there and help people find jobs in a field that they didn't know that, that will be very interesting for them, So, yes.
Yes, sir. No, that's great stuff. That's awesome. So let's transition right into the next portion. Whenever I have entrepreneurs on the platform like yourself, I like to cover three things. I like to talk about the aha moment, action, and audacity. Sounds like you gained your love and your passion from mechanic work. You already had that love and passion. So what was that aha moment that sparked the idea to turn this into a business? Can you talk about that?
The aha moment for me would be so I always had a love for cars. So I'm a Mustang guy.
Okay.
I started with a 67 Mustang. I went with 91 Mustang. I ended up having a 97 Mustang. Then I ended up having a 2002 Mustang. And then I bought my 2014 Mustang in 2014, brand new, Okay. So, but then once I realized when I started trying to work on my 2014 Mustang, the tools that I needed to work on my 2002 and 97, those tools weren't able to, it wasn't able to work on my 2014 now, because on your newer cars, when you start adding high performance stuff, now you got to tune your computer. And then it really showed me something when I had to upgrade my transmission and I had to take the actual wire harness plug off. And you had to get a special wrench, and this wrench cost me $7, $8, And so then I started realizing, I started talking to other friends I had a friend of mine, he has a Charger. And then I had another guy who had a challenge, and they started telling me, man, I had to get this. I'm going to have to try this program to do this. And I started realizing, hey, we're all going through the same thing there. And of course, like Darnell said, have to jack the car up, take your 20 minutes to jack your car up,
Right.
But then I started realizing that everybody didn't have the tools. Then I started working on my wife's car. She has a newer model BMW. And oh my Lord, we want to talk about the special tools I have to buy, because I know how to work on cars. Like I say, I started off, I went to school to work on cars when I first graduated high school. Then I went over to college. But like I say, so I could work on cars. So, but like I say, the tools, it wasn't that I didn't have the skills. It was how much money I was spending on tools. And that's when I started realizing, hey, everybody has this problem. Then they had this concept over at Maxwell Air Force Base before 9/11 and all that kind of stuff happened. But they had it where the base people could use, they had their own services over there, the same similar concept. But like I said, but once things changed, they end up getting rid of it off the base. But like I said, but when I started working on parts myself and I started saying my friends were going through the same thing, everybody was having to spend money on all these tools. I was like, hey, I could really help people, far as save money just by doing working on car side of it, and offering these services. And then, like I said, then from there, I started noticing how can I make it more impactful to my community, just not by saving them money on working on cars, but how can I do something even more different? And that's when I started thinking of the concept of offering classes, to really try to give back. It's not all about let's just making money, but also how can we give back? So I wanted to add the two things together. Trying to make up, living, but also giving back at the same time. So this idea just, like I say, everything just started coming together. Yeah.
Great, man. That's some powerful stuff. So from the time you had the idea, let's move over to the action portion. How long did it take you to come up with the name, and what inspired the name, and how long did it take you to get into the action mode of creating the business and the logo and all that good stuff?
Ooh. So we really been, like I said, Darnell said, really about a year ago. Like I said, I had started the idea about 2 years ago. But then once we started trying to put it to action, like I said, we actually went out for the Launchpad Alabama. It was just a little startup campaign thing. I just put the idea out there. They take ideas from startup companies. So like I said, we just put it out there, just see how it was going to be. You know, it was our big applicants. Come to find out, we ended up being in the top 7. So that was pretty good. And from there, I was like, hey, we really do have a good idea. Let's just go ahead and push forward. The name actually came from my family name. My family has a name used to be Good Service Cab. We used to always talk about, the first thing my uncle used to talk about, who owned the cab company, was good service. He was always talking about, you got to be nice to your customers. You got to have, you got to be talk to your customer. Your customer have to be part of your family. So, and then, and that's when we talk about, good service first, because that's one thing we're still going to be sticking to, is the customer is going to always be first. And we're going to be training our employees on what is good service first. And then one thing we often say sometimes is that if you look at good service first and you take one of the O's out, and it'll really represent what we're trying to do, Nice. And yes. So, and then, like I say, good service first, and its name speaks for itself. Good service first, So like I say, things just start coming together. My other co-founder, now he has a background in engineering, and he was like, hey, this really is a good opportunity as well. And he really tied Darnell in. And like I say, from there, we also got some counselors, some people who are longtime members of the business community in Montgomery that's giving us some advice. So they started just, hey, this really could be a good idea. And we just kept pushing things forward,
Yes, sir. And I asked that question. I'm always curious, how long does it take someone to get from actually coming up with an idea and actually getting started? Because a lot of times, a lot of people don't get started on ideas, overthinking, procrastination, afraid it might not work. But hey, you took the idea and you actually put some action behind it, and now it's coming to fruition, which leads to my last portion of audacity. Let me tell you, it takes courage and audacity to step out there, not only in any endeavor, but the fact that you're bringing something new to Montgomery. I'm curious to know who or what gave you the courage, the audacity to actually step out there and start this.
Oh, well, I want to say, you got to say it from my father above, first of all, just believing that, hey, it's all about having a vision or a purpose, and like I said, the older I get, I start realizing, it's not about, I've been successful in manufacturing. I've been very successful, able to, supply for my family, have a good living, like they say, you can just work and just get your 401k and retire, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, but the older I start getting, is all about how can you make the world better before you leave, and that's what really gave me the passion to say, hey, I always had a passion for cars. I always had a passion and love for cars. And I started thinking about, hey, how can I add my success right now in manufacturing and add my passion together? And I truly believe that once you add your passion and you have a vision to be able to put those things together, I mean, your father said, hey, he gave you this vision. And if he gave you the vision, you can achieve it. The only thing you got to do is believe in yourself. So that's where my strength and my passion and this vision came from my father. So, I have to push forward, and believe that, hey, it's not just all about me coming here and me just making success for myself, but how can I make a difference, and that's where all this push came from.
Hey, I love to hear that talk. You talk about that generational wealth, talking about leaving something behind for your kids and their kids.
Yeah.
And that's something we don't talk about enough in the Black community, man. So and I always ask that question because I'm always just curious, like, what pushes somebody to want to do that? Like you said, you get your courage and audacity from God, which is all you really need to get out here and make things happen. And that's some great stuff. So Darnell, I want to ask you, man, because you actually saw this, you believed in it, you put your money behind it. Who, in terms of, I know you say you have a love for mechanic work and things of that nature. Coming up, did you ever think you was going to go into business for yourself, or what really got you outside of just believing in the vision, man? Like, did you just grow up one day wanting to own your own shop or invest in a mechanic shop and anything like that?
So
And I like that question. So initially, and I give a perspective from my upbringing. When I was raised not to. It wasn't that we had ownership in our own businesses, but to one, finish high school first, go to college, or definitely after you finish high school, you're going to get a job. So,
right.
But I finished college, but my idea was to establish myself, get a good job, establish myself in a career, and progress from there. But what I started noticing was that I had a skill set, and that skill set could also turn me into having ownership and establishing other businesses, for myself. And, when I met Anthony, I knew Quint. Me and him went to school together. And when Quint contacted me, he told me about this opportunity. I wanted to be a part of it so much because, for one, as I stated, ever since I was probably in my teens, I've been, working with vehicles, also integrating with electronics. I used to do electronic installs in vehicles. And from there, with him presenting that opportunity, it made me want to be a part of the team, so much because I saw the potential, I saw the value in it, and I saw, what they could bring to this area, to the community, and how much it would empower the community into working on their own vehicles. So, that's pretty much my backstory from it, and I'm just excited to be a part of the team.
Yes, sir. That's some powerful stuff, man. And it's so refreshing, man, to see. We can call it what it is, man. It's so refreshing to see brothers investing in other brothers, man, because that's really what we need. Because we have great ideas, we have great potential, and we can really take over the world. It just takes capital, man. Unfortunately, we don't have the advantages of other groups, and we have to y'all know where I'm getting at, man. Like, this is just refreshing to see us working together, man.
Yeah. And and that's part of the other thing, that we're actually doing too to help bring more capital in, because ultimately we're doing a chain of garages. So we're actually a corporation. So we're actually an S corporation, so we're regulated by the FCC, and we're actually going to be selling shares of our company. So we're not only just trying to empower our youth, empower our community, but also we're going to be allowing people to have ownership of this company, because we got some aggressive planning where we're going for 8 stores in 5 years. So like I said, we're actually going to be raising capital for our company, and talk to other people like us, and starting off with family and friends right now. So we got a lot of capital from them and other people who just believing on us to see this thing not just start here in Montgomery, but like I say, Montgomery, Birmingham, Huntsville, Memphis, Nashville. Like I said, we're really got some aggressive planning on where we're trying to take this corporation to. Like I said, we're not just trying to start off like just a single. We're going to be a single store starting out, but we really have some aggressive dreams, and hopefully we're able to come together as a community and really make some things happen on another level.
Yes, sir. That's really what it's all about. Thinking big, dreaming big, and as a community, we come together, put our funds together, and put our heads together, man. We can make great things shake. So that ties right into my next portion, man. Let's talk about vision. What are your short-term and long-term goals for the business?
Right now, our soft launch date is 4th of July. We're working on a location right now on Atlanta Highway. Actually on the end of Atlanta Highway, on the Bama lanes end, close to the AutoZone on that side of Atlanta Highway. So that's where we're actually right now. So we're going on that. And like I said, we're going to be doing a soft launch where we can really see what does the community want more of. In our Kickstarter campaign, people will be able to buy our services in advance, and we'll be able to like I say, do that during the soft launch, really get an idea for what everybody want. And after that, like I say, then we'll go to full launch maybe 3 months after our soft launch, like I say, which is in July. And after that, next year, after we get Montgomery location, all our standard work and all our procedures in place, then we'll be going to the Birmingham location. But like I say, our soft launch date right now is for July.
Okay. Good stuff. And in terms of, well, pretty much, I know long term you want to expand out. You want to get to Birmingham, Memphis, as you stated.
Yeah.
So let's expand a little bit more about the classes. So in terms of what age group are you looking to reach? Like, what's the target audience in terms of the class that you're going to teach?
That right there, we're going for, our target is going to be 19 to 38. That's going to be our target. But like I say, anybody at least have to be 18 or older, or whoever coming in by adult, we may do 14 or older. But like I say, our target is 19 to 38. Also, we got some other things that we'll be working on. We're working on the background as well, as far as some classes, as far as helping people get ASC mechanic certified. There's some more things that we're working on. But like I said, that'll be a application thing that people have to come in for. But far as just the free classes, like I say, anybody, can be able to sign up and go to these free classes that we'll be offering. Yes.
And that's great, man, because especially the younger generation, like I definitely, because it's not pushed so much now, I definitely believe like this is going to be a great thing that you're going to be coming in and teaching them a skill set, teaching them a trade that you might say. I mean, don't get me wrong. I went the college route, got the degree, got into the IT field. However, learning how to work on cars, whether it be a mechanic or welder or HVAC, like all these kids need to gain a skill, man. We got to get back to that trade school thing. Don't get me wrong. College is great, but trade school is just as important. So the fact that you offering a free class to teach them a skill set, man, I just want to commend you for that. That's awesome, man, for real.
Yeah. And like I say, by me being in the manufacturing field now, like I say, I see the welders and, like I say, some people, all kids cannot go to college,
Right.
Some may not be able to afford to go to, like I said, a 4-year college, especially how much everything is costing,
Right.
because, we're luckily Obama thing came around wherever they would slide in the 10-year thing. You remember Obama did the 10-year thing for us, but yeah, so you remember our student loan debt, but yeah, so like I say, all people can't go to college. And now, by me being in the manufacturing field, and I see how much these welders are getting paid. I mean, these welders are getting paid $35, $40 an hour, and with overtime, these guys are hitting 6 figures overtime, So like I say, these, people can really these young guys can really make a nice living at a young age too. They can really make a nice living at a young age and really be able to use their manufacturing skills and be able to make a nice living for themselves.
Yes, sir. No, man, that's great, man. That's powerful stuff. And like I said, just looking forward to seeing that come to fruition. So let's get to the $1 million question. So I started this podcast. I wanted to share light on the greatness coming out of Montgomery, whether you're from here, whether you went here for a significant part of your life, like college. Because I wanted to share light on the greatness coming out of the city, because Montgomery gets a rep for being, but it's a lot of greatness in the city. I just want to know, we'll start with you, Anthony. What are some of those values and beliefs that you gained as a child or your upbringing you've been able to carry with you throughout your life, and it's allowed you to evolve into the entrepreneur that you are now?
Really my family. My family really has a lot of entrepreneurs. My family owned a barber. Actually, both sides of my family owned barber shop and hair salons growing up. My dad's side was Howard's beauty salon, and my mom's side was Dutch's beauty salon. Really seeing them, like I said, a couple times days when my mom was working late, and seeing my mom having to work 2 jobs, and my daddy, he's working, and and my dad was working down at the shop, and seeing them work, and that's something that I always seen them work hard. And that was one thing I always had about myself, not missing a day of work, giving a honors works job for honors pay, And so I kept that drive and that same mentality with me. I'm going into my profession and my upbringing, just watching my family.
Yeah. Nice. And Darnell, since you spent a significant part of your time in Montgomery, specifically going to college, what's What impact did those college years have on you in terms of your overall evolution as a man and entrepreneur, business associate?
Well, I'm gonna go back a little further than just my college years because mainly, and I want to give credit to my grandfather because my grandfather raised me. My grandfather, he only had an 8th grade education, but he had a business mind and a business mindset, that was well beyond his education. And that kind of instilled in me, how to manage money and, just how to take care of family as well, because, I saw how he raised myself and how he raised, his kids as well. And definitely for me, family is a motivation. So when I'm, looking into other opportunities, so I guess I'll put it into the automotive aspect. I keep my foot on the gas. Mm-hmm. So I set an example for my children as well. And as you mentioned, before, we're trying to establish that generational wealth for our kids, and for our family. So I want to set that example for my kids. So not just, when I went to college, which definitely gave me the educational background, which, helped me establish myself, but also my family is my motivation to help me to continue to progress forward. And, I hope we're moving forward in an aggressive direction, as Anthony stated, to get good service first established, and we can continue to, move forward with this opportunity.
Yes, sir. Powerful stuff, gentlemen. Powerful stuff. So, Anthony, how can the people connect with you? What are your social media handles? Facebook, IG?
Oh, yes, we do have an IG, Good Service First. That is our IG. We also do have our email, goodservice1st@gmail.com. So we can be reached right there right now. And like I say, you can reach out to us, and we'll be actually doing investment presentations. So if you're actually interested in hearing about that, like I say, on either one of those, Good Service First at Gmail, or either Good Service First on IG.
Sounds good. And of course, I'll put all this information in the description of the episode. Hey, gentlemen, thanks again for the conversation. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you for it.
Thank you as well.
Yes, sir. Good people. That concludes another dope episode of the Gumptown Podcast. We gone, but before we leave, remember, be blessed, be safe, but most importantly, have the audacity to be you. Gone. Thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate your time and your attention. Until next time.